I don't often do videos like this where I'm talking about kind of bigger, wider football issues unless it's something really important. And this is important. This European Super League is a travesty. I was up until 4 a.m. last night, just seething with anger, just because my club is dying. Football, the sport that I love, is dying. And it is just because of selfish, greedy owners. I can't get my head around it. There's going to be no structure to this video. This is literally just an emotional reaction to it. I had to get myself together and compose some time. I'm trying not to swear in the video, but honestly, there are no words I can think of for the scumbags at the top of the so-called Big Six. It doesn't surprise me that Florentino Perez is behind it all at Real Madrid. That doesn't surprise me in the slightest. And to be fair, from the Italian and the Spanish club's point of view, I can see why they're doing it, because they've obviously been impacted even more by COVID because they don't have the same TV revenue that the Premier League has. That means I don't condone it in the slightest, and I don't know what it's like for Real Madrid and Barcelona and Juventus and the two Milan club fans. Please, if you're there, tell me in the comment section how you feel about it. But from an English football point of view, it's just against everything that the game stands for. And that's the fundamental problem, is that these people do not understand sport or the concept of sport. It's a business transaction. And from a business transaction point, I can understand it, obviously, because they're eliminating the competition. They will get a certain amount of revenue every single year. I'm hearing it's around about £300 million a year in terms of revenue, which is over double what you would get for the Premier League and the Champions League individually. Obviously, cumulatively, it will be more as well. It's absolutely ridiculous. If you haven't heard about the ESL and you've been living under a rock for like the last 24 hours, basic concept is that there are going to be 15 founding clubs that cannot be relegated and cannot be removed from this European competition. Some people are saying it's a kind of power move so they can get more sway with UEFA and more sway with obviously their respective domestic leagues. But how much more do you want? I can only talk on behalf of the 6 English Premier League clubs, and these are apparently the Big Six. 3 of them aren't even in the top 4 in the league. 3 of them aren't really even... It's just ridiculous. I could go for them all individually, but obviously the one that means the most to me is Liverpool. Because Liverpool is the club that I have loved since I was 9 years old. And thanks to some sodding owner who I don't know, I now feel ashamed. I'm ashamed of my club. And it's not the club, it's John W. Henry. It isn't this club, because they don't know what this stands for. They don't know what it means to be a fan. They have no idea. Absolutely no idea what it's like. Everything we've gone through as Liverpool fans, winning the title last year, it all feels for nothing. Absolutely nothing. Even if this is a cash grab and a way to get more influence in the Premier League, the damage this has done and the discrepancy between the Big Six and the rest of them. Big Six, Arsenal and Tottenham. What? I genuinely don't understand it, where these clubs feel. And this isn't just Tottenham and Arsenal. This is Liverpool. This is United. This is City. This is Chelsea. How they've decided that they have this God-given right to finish in the top 4 and be in Europe's elite competition and get a certain amount of money every year is total nonsense. It's vain, it's arrogant, it's dangerous, and it's just against the fundamental principles of everything. I hope the Premier League relegate them. Do what they did with Rangers when Rangers had all those issues back in the day. This is for my club Liverpool, who I probably won't be supporting anymore, which is a shame, because it's not the club, it's not the staff, it's not the players, it's definitely not Jurgen Klopp, it's not even... It's the owners. But because of them, I don't feel like I can support my club, because my club is going against something that fundamentally I do not agree with and I hate. I detest it. The whole point of sport is to have a fair and competitive field and seeing underdogs beat big teams. This is the whole point of sport. And football can collapse in on itself. They're saying that they're going to put some of the money back towards the football pyramid. Absolute bollocks, are they? It's going to go into the owner's pocket because they're going to say that they're going to spend more money on other players. Number one, if I was a player, why would I only want to play in one competition every year? Because apparently the likelihood is that players, or the UEFA, FIFA, whoever it is, are going to say that players who play in the European Super League cannot then play in domestic competition or international competitions, which means you can't represent your country, you can't play in the Champions League, you can't play in the Premier League, the Liga, whatever. And I think that is exactly the right thing to do. If I were them, I would just relegate them all down to the bottom tiers. That's exactly what I'd do. Put them in the Vanarama National South and make them work their way up for it. Players will leave. The academies and the infrastructure are all in there, but maybe by the time that they manage to get back up to the top, because obviously there's only a certain amount of places that can get back there, if they can do that, then maybe other teams will be able to catch up with the prize money in the meantime. I don't know. I don't know how you fix this. Well, I do know how you fix it, and Gary Neville put it brilliant. You get an independent regulator that can go through and make sure stuff like this doesn't happen. I can't tell you how angry I am. There are so many things on so many levels that are wrong with it. But the biggest thing is that I will no longer, if this goes ahead, I will no longer be a Liverpool supporter. And I don't feel like I could be anyway. Because my club, thanks to the greedy ambitions of one man, or one group, FSG, have just ruined my club. The name's in the dirt. I'd feel bad talking to other fans of West Ham, fans of Villa, fans of other clubs that are trying to compete and keep up and do really well. Like, look at what West Ham and Leicester are doing this year. How must they feel right now? They're beating all these big six, apparently, and yet they're not going to get invited to the table. And yes, I know apparently there's 5 qualification places you can get to be in this ESL. What's the point? What's the point if the other 15 can't be left? Because they'll get that same amount of money every single year. And it keeps spiralling. And they'll keep getting stronger and more financially wealthy. Just respect to Bayern Munich. Respect to Dortmund. At the moment as well, respect to PSG. Whether they still maintain that they're not going to join, then fair enough. If they do, hats off to you. But I've got problems with all the big 6 clubs that do it. Arsenal and Tottenham for a start. Arsenal have got a very rich history and they should know better. But we all know what Kroenke's like, so it doesn't surprise me. Plus, with the state that they're in, it's no wonder that they would go and try and take a cash grab to try and keep it up, because obviously their team are just missing out on finances every single year by only ever being in the Europa League. Tottenham, don't even get me started on Tottenham as a big 6 club. Leicester have beaten them, 3 out of the last 5 years? I mean, an absolute joke. Levy as well, building the stadium so that you can have loads of fans in there. They're not even going to have any fans in the stadium. If I was a fan, I'd boycott it. 100%. No way am I going to go and watch those games. I don't care that Liverpool will be playing Barcelona every week. Bugger that. I don't want to go and watch it. If it's part of some sort of big club monopoly, leave me out of it, thanks. I'd much rather go and support Villa like my dad, and that is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go off and I'm going to support Aston Villa because that is my dad's team and it's the other team I feel closest to, and I'll probably go and support my local club as well. I already kind of did, but now I can put my heart and soul into something that matters to me, because this club is not the club, the owners and the way they're taking this club is a travesty. The clubs have been there longer than you, Henry, Glazer, Kroenke, but they may not be lasting as long, thanks to you. You've just ruined football, and it's never going to be the same. It's football civil war. That's what it is now. Because even if they don't do this ESL, how are the rest of all the other clubs in the league going to feel? I think, like the fans, I don't want to be a fan of a big 6 club anymore. I don't want to be a fan of Liverpool, which sounds horrible. But that's unfortunately the situation we've all been pushed into, isn't it? I don't know any other big 6 club fans in the comment section. How are you feeling? Just tell me how you're feeling. This won't be the only video I do on this. I'm emotional. I'm upset. It's the sport that I love and I've loved since I was a kid, and they're just franchising it to make it uncompetitive. We're in the midst of a pandemic. And there are people out there struggling to survive. People struggling to provide for their families. People struggling to hold on to their homes and feed, and unemployment. And these guys, these owners, these faceless people that don't have to answer to anyone, to do this now. Have you got no shame? Seriously, have you got no shame? Have you been living under a rock? It's alright for you lot, isn't it? It's alright for you. You have no idea what it's like. They're so separated from reality and so separated from fans. They don't care. And I've heard this argument from friends, and I've had many a discussion over the last 24 hours. My mates say, "Oh well, fans won't turn up, and that'll hit them in the pockets." And this, they don't care. They won't hit them in the pockets. So they're making £300 million gate receipts in comparison to the amount of money that they bring in. They don't really need fans turning up. The lower level clubs do. The big six don't. They don't. They don't need it. They don't need it. And they're saying it's all for a sustainable model. It can be a sustainable model. You just don't have to go and spend £80 million on players. City, by the way, just putting it out there. And Chelsea, right? Chelsea obviously ran by Rivera. It's just... Yeah, I mean, why... don't even start. I can't believe it. But City and Chelsea, in relative football terms, is new money. Chelsea, obviously, a little bit longer ago. And City have just come in. And now they want to go off and monopolise it because it's just that time. So they've just got lucky in the fact that they've walked into money at a time now where they want to break away from everything. Pathetic. It's absolutely pathetic. But I'm not slating the clubs. I'm slating the owners. That is what people have to understand, is that it's not the clubs that are doing this. It's the owners using the clubs as a shield for their own personal greed. That's what it is. I can say that about all of them. I know what Gary Neville was saying yesterday, and I completely take his point. I think it's a brilliant point about it. But when he's using the club's names, it's hard not to use the club names because obviously that's the brand that they're using to use this. But really, it's the people behind it. It's Henry, it's Kroenke, it's the Glazers, it's Abramovich, it's the Abu Dhabi Group, Daniel Levy. It's these people that are doing this, not the clubs. It's not the clubs. It's not the fan. It's not a representation of what we think of our teams, and that is the worst thing about it, because there is nothing as fans we can do. We can try and boycott it. I genuinely don't think that they care. I am open to suggestions on how we can stop this. I will do anything to stop this. It's one of the reasons why I'm making the video. I want everyone to get behind this notion that we cannot let this happen. We cannot let this happen. And if you're a fan of a Big Six club, stop it immediately. Go and pick your local club. Go and pick another club that means something to you. Go pick your second team. Go pick Leicester. Go pick West Ham. Go pick Villa. Go pick Weymouth. Go pick Cambridge. Just whoever it is, anything is better than supporting this nonsense. This monopolised, franchised, no risk, all reward for them nonsense. I'm sick. I'm angry, I'm upset, I'm crying on camera, and I'm not... Just let me know what you think in the comment section. Don't bother about... I'm not going to bother about the like, share, and subscribe. I just needed to get this off my chest. Let me know how you guys are feeling. I hope that it isn't true. But I think the damage is already done. Pandora's box has been opened. So to the Big Six Premier League clubs, or owners of the Premier League clubs, thank you. Thank you for ruining the game that I love. And thank you for ruining my club, John W. Henry, and FSG. Thank you.